How are you this morning? All right. Thank you all for wearing your masks indoors. This is our new reality. Temporary, of course, because as we know, things change. So thank you for going with the flow, helping to keep each other safe. Remember, we don't know what everybody else's circumstances are at home and who we're protecting. So as a way to love each other, we're just going to protect each other here inside. Once you're outside, especially if you're fully vaccinated, you can take those masks off and, excuse me, not exaggerate the risk at that point. But for now, thank you. And just know that we continue to move forward, that we continue to expand our idea of a healthy and whole community, and that it is sure to be revealed. That's the way it works. So I'm Reverend Tracy, delighted to have you all here this morning. Say hello to those folks out there in Facebook land. We're really glad that you've joined us as well. And as I have said in the past, we continually strive to improve the quality of our sound and our streaming, and that will continue to evolve over time. And in the meantime, you can be here in person, in virtual, part of this community, because what do we do here? We remember the truth of who we are. And that truth is that love and support and peace and joy that lives within us, and just finding all kinds of new ways to express it. We support each other in that. We support each other in celebration. We support each other in sorrow. We support each other as a community of like-minded individuals who are looking to live their best life, because we know it's possible. And when we know it's possible, we are shining our light for everyone else to know as well. So thank you for being here. We have a great service planned for you this morning. Our practitioner who will do our opening prayer and reading is Diane Clemens. You know, our practitioners are practiced, hence the name, in knowing the truth. Please make sure that you reach out to your practitioner for a little prayer support, a little encouragement, just a little consciousness raising. You know, every once in a while we get down in the dumps. It's good to have support, and that's what your practitioners do for you. So do make sure that you talk to them, reach out to them. You can contact them. Their numbers are online or in our e-blast. They'd love to hear from you. We also have a little music over here on the keyboards with our friend Jeff Harrison. And I want to give a little shout out to our sound team in the back, making the streaming and our recording possible. Hi, guys. Ed is pointing at Sean. Sean is pointing at Ed. It's a little love fest back there. And Mary's back there just to expand the skills pool, because it's always good to have more than one person who knows what the heck is going on. Have you noticed that? Yeah, so thank you to that team for making all of this possible. All right, well, let's get started as we do with a moment of reflection. Wherever you are sitting, I invite you to simply close your eyes and take a deep breath. And let the sound of the bowl take you within to that space of the heart. Breathing in, and with every breath, opening that heart to the place of joy and love that lives within. Breathing into that knowledge that you and I and Spirit are one.
As we enjoy the sacred space, let's take this quiet moment. Let's go within and connect with our higher power, that still small voice within you, the I am of your being. Let's know that we are here by divine appointment. What we have been seeking is seeking us. Let us be open to today's message, knowing there are no accidents. The very fact that we were drawn here on this particular Sunday morning to this particular center, even to the seat that you chose when you came in, know that this is the action of Spirit, Spirit in Action. And the message spoken today was written just for you. The guidance that you seek is revealed to you today. We are grateful for a power that works for us, through us, and as us. And we are so grateful that this is so. And we say, and so it is. Our reading today is taken from Ernest Holmes. And today he says, I am vitalized by the fullness of life. You know that life cannot withhold itself from you. All that life is and has is fully given to you to enjoy. The life of God is perfect and eternal. It is the essence of everything that is. Life is God's gift to you. It is always ready to manifest itself through you in its entire fullness. You are a self-choosing mind and a divinity that permeates everything. You are always in the midst of life, a life that lives eternally and lives through you now. Therefore, you need not be disturbed by the passage of time, the movement around you, nor the variations of your experience. There is something within you that remains unmovable, that always speaks directly to you, saying, be still and know that I am God. Say, consciously, I draw upon the life that is mine. I know that the fullness of life, which is divine in its origin, eternal in its presence, and forever available, is mine. The life of eternal spirit is my life. The infinite riches of its being are mine to enjoy. The vitality, the wisdom, and the peace of God are mine. I accept them in fullness, in joy, and in peace. My thought is a gateway to illumination. It is the secret place of the Most High within me. Therefore, I revel in the fullness of life at this moment. I accept life as a glorious experience, a spiritual adventure.
Thank you. Perfect. And so today we begin a new month, which means we have a new theme. And our theme this month is to pause for guidance. Pause for guidance. Last month we spoke about being pulled by our vision as a way of tapping into a greater idea that is unique to us, for we are here to express spirit as only we can. And this month we're talking about exactly how we do that in our daily life, how to pause and tap into that inner knowing that we all carry. I want to start with a reading about that guidance from the Joyous Living Journal. And it says, for the mystic, it's about the constant conscious contact with the infinite. When a less than pleasant dynamic arises in life, can you remember to touch the infinite and trust that this union will provide all that is necessary? It's easy to get caught up in thinking, I know what's best here and how everything is supposed to turn out, and then outlining the orders to the universe as to how to fix things. A healthier approach is to courageously pause, turn within, and listen for a higher guidance to show a way beyond the present engaged human perspective. Allow your perspective and proclamations to come from an expanded vista, and your resolutions from revelations. Ask yourself, where in my life would it be good to pause and listen for a higher perspective in a difficult situation? And so we begin this process this month, today, with a talk called Time for a Tune-Up. It's good to pause in life and just sort of assess, right? To see where we are in a given moment. If you're watching the Olympics at all, you see the athletes pause before they take their starting position. Whether it's in gymnastics or at the edge of the pool, there is a moment where you can see them go within and basically center themselves, right, before the action begins. And that is what we're talking about. So when we're talking about a tune-up, we are talking about something very similar to when we tune up our cars, right? If you get everything humming along nicely, if you synchronize all of the systems to work together, then your engine is easier to start. Your fuel economy improves, which also reduces the toxic emissions. And my favorite, your zippity-doo-dah that you bought the car for in the first place comes back. Yes. And overall, the performance is simply more efficient, more productive, what you really want your car to be, all because you took the time to get it tuned up. And wouldn't you like to start your day a little more smoothly, a little more easily, and improve how much energy you have? Put that zippity-doo-dah back in your own day, and to truly feel that all of your systems, your mental, emotional, spiritual, physical selves are working together in harmony. And sometimes in order to do that, we need support, right? Most of us do not work on our own cars. Gone are the days when you can gap your own spark plugs and adjust the carburetor or the little idle screw under the hood and make things better for yourself, because most of us actually need a diagnostic tool for our engine to even talk to us and tell us what all the little pretty lights mean, like, check your engine now, right? So we go to the mechanic, or we take it to the dealer, or we go to our brother-in-law because that's what he likes to do for fun. And we consult the expert. We get support. We use the diagnostic tool to see where we can make some small adjustments in order to realign the overall performance. And we do that, of course, for ourselves. I kind of like the word tune up. Tune as in harmony, right? As in balance, as to get in tune with, as to match the vibration of, in a beautiful way, as opposed to a discordant way. And tune up, as in to look up to the hills from whence cometh our help, not because we see God as a being up there in the sky, but because when we literally raise our vision above the problem that's right in front of us, that enlarged vista allows us to see more possibilities, a different way forward. It opens us up physically and emotionally and spiritually to inspiration. And wouldn't we like to live our days with more inspiration at our disposal? It's always there, but we need to activate it. So we tune up. We get in harmony with our higher self, with the higher understanding of life, with that expanded consciousness which presents us with infinite possibility. In your spiritual knowing, in your spiritual practice, in your efforts to live life more consciously, more mindfully, the support that you seek comes from your like-minded friends. It comes from the books you read and the music you listen to. It comes from your spiritual community. It comes from reaching out to your practitioner for prayer support. That support comes from your quiet time, when you let the world go for a bit and just be present in your garden, or enjoy the sunrise or sunset for those of you that sleep in. When you take a moment to get still so that you can see what else is true about you beyond the noise that's around you in your life. So we have an opportunity to pause in our efforts to harmonize and realign ourselves with this greater truth. The second thing it takes to get tuned up, to bring everything back into alignment, is to pause and take a look at what you might like to change or learn or maybe grow into. And here's the thing about growth. You have to be teachable. Anybody have that friend? You know that friend, the one that complains about something and you know something about that subject, so you offer them some information, but they already know everything, and so you can't really tell them anything, and they just kind of like blow. You know, you don't really want to be that person. Not if you are sincere about wanting to expand your experience of life. Because in order to learn, we have to be teachable. We have to be open to learning something new. And one of the aspects that goes along with being teachable is being humble. Now, I'm not really a big fan of the word humility, and I think because in my mind I associate it with the word humiliation. You know, who wants to go there, right? That's not what we want. But to be humble is more than there is a definition of being less than or lowly or lower rank. You know, think of societies where there are distinct classes, right? And so there is this humble beginnings. You know, we started out at a lower place and now we're going to work our way up to a better place. This idea of a hierarchy. But what humble also means, that it literally means on the ground of the earth. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with being grounded. I'm good with having a foundation where the picture in my mind is of being anchored in a way that allows me the freedom to grow and move and bend and not lose my balance, right? So to be firmly on the ground, when it's a spiritual foundation, gives us a place to live in a better way, in a grander way. It gives us room to try something new. You have to be willing to be the newbie. How many of you avoid taking a class or signing up for a workshop or going to a lecture or something like that because you might be the only one who doesn't know what's going on or what to do, and you might end up looking foolish? I'm going to take an art class, right? I'm going to learn to throw pottery on the wheel. How fun is that? I love clay. You get in there and you see these people who've got these elaborate vases coming off of their wheel. And you're looking at your little blob of clay with a little dent in the top that you're trying to make bigger, and it's all lopsided. And you never go back. Why? Because we tell ourselves we're not allowed to fail, that somehow that reflects on our value, that we're less than somehow because we don't already know. We think as adults, we're supposed to already know everything. Yeah, no, it doesn't work that way. It's never worked that way. And the people having the most fun are the ones out there giving it a shot. In order to be humble, try being willing to stumble. To stumble doesn't mean you've stopped. You may have paused inadvertently, but it's part of your forward motion. And that's what gets us excited. That's what energizes us. That's what gets our creativity moving again. So when we are talking about tuning up our lives, part of our willingness to align ourselves with the spiritual truth is to open our human self to growth and to give ourselves room for being human. That means we need to develop an understanding and compassionate viewpoint. Oh, hey, you know, that's just the first time you tried. Look, you got this piece right. Let's try again. Let's get this next step involved. Right? To have a kindness in your voice, in your demeanor, whether it's your inside voice or your outside voice, a voice of compassion and encouragement so that you might continue to move forward into something new. If you don't move into new things, you stay where you are. One, you can never stay completely where you are because nature doesn't work that way. And two, if you try to stay where you are without moving forward, without changing, without growing, you're going to be a grumposaurus and no one is going to want to be around you. Because it takes a lot of effort to stay stuck. So our intention is not to stay stuck. Our intention is to step into what I might learn, how I might grow. And not to confuse our progress as some ideal perfection that we're not meeting. Like somehow it doesn't count if we don't get it all at once. Again, back to the Olympics. You know, I get a little tired of how many gold medals we've won. Or how disappointed we are when it's only a silver. I'm sorry. These are all Olympic caliber athletes. The purpose of the Olympics is to bring cultures and athletes together to show how we can cooperate, how we are more alike than different, how we can celebrate our magnificence as the human race, not to keep score. Now, I'm all for gold medals. That's great. But it's not the be all and end all of why we're out there. We're out there to live our best expression as we individually show up in the world. So when we don't live up to an expectation or fail at a task, again, that's not reason to throw everything out. That's the reason to reach out a hand, to offer a hug, even if it's to yourself. It's like, you know what? That's enough for today. I'll work at it tomorrow. Right? There's room for us to be human. And in order for us to grow and learn, we've got to be willing to get out there and let it be okay. Know that the progress itself is perfection. And your value is never in question. You are a child of the Most High spiritual intelligence there is. There isn't anything about you that decreases your value. You already have it in you. Nothing from the outside is going to take that away, especially not other people's opinions, no matter what your parents told you. Right? So we ask ourselves, where do I want to improve my life? Where can I create a little more balance? Where can I unobstruct the flow? Right? What am I looking to learn? What am I willing to do? Ernest Holmes reminds us that you are to find the roots of your life in pure spirit. Lose your sense of being separated from your good, and you will find that you are united with it. In other words, when we step out of judgment about what just went wrong, because usually when we're in judgment, that's where we're going. We're not really judging things positively, are we? To be in judgment seems to imply that you're being critical. We step away from that. Then we are able to be teachable, to be grounded in a foundation of spirit. And we don't carry around with us that sense of false pride. If I were an Olympic athlete and I won a medal, I would be proud. But I'm not proud because I'm better than you, nah. It's not an arrogance. It's not a comparison. It is a recognition of the power that is right here, right now in me, and my willingness and ability and courage to be out in front with it. That's not a false pride. That's not the ego trying to keep us safe. That is my spiritual nature shining its light, and that's a good thing. Find the roots. And when we find our roots in spirit, then what happens is we begin to lose or let loose the things that don't serve us, that aren't becoming. Being a cranky, judgmental person is never a good look on anyone. We let that go, and then we decide and act as a sharer, someone who shares what they want to be in the world. You want more peace in your life? Find a way to share peace with someone. You want more love in your life? Find someone else to love. We are, of course, to be the change we wish to see. But what that means on a daily basis is to understand that when I want something, the quickest way for me to get it is first be grateful for wherever it shows up in my life, even a little bit. And secondly, to express it in the world from me. How else does the universe know what you want? It's what you put out there. It's what you ask for. It's the way you act. So if you can tap into the part of you that can bring peace to a situation, even if it's just with a passing smile or a little recognition. My mom used to raise one eyebrow and you'd kind of know she heard you. I can't do it. Obviously, I have to use my finger. She didn't. When we do that, when we share what we want, we create room for it. And that's what we're all looking for. I want more abundance. I need to share what I have and be grateful for what I have. Because when I share it, what am I telling myself? I have it. Can't share something I don't have. And it's not your responsibility to find for me or make for me or give to me or force down my throat what I think I want. Not your job. But I can encourage you. I can be present. I can see the potential in your life when you cannot. That's the support part. But ultimately, it's up to each of us to know for ourselves where we are in this process. To allow our higher self a little bit of room to work, a little bit of room to show us, to let rise up within us what it is that we're calling for. And as we let loose of what doesn't serve, if we're listening to our own heart, then what will come up for us is what our next step is, what our passion is, what our purpose is. Our best diagnostic tool is our own heart, our own desires, our own personalities. It's there for a reason. It's there because it's part of our call of how to be human. If we don't do that, and we're trying to tune up our lives, what's going to end up happening is we are going to tune in instead to everybody else's broadcast of what life should be or how life works. I was remembering at a time when I was part of a choir. How many of you have been part of a choir, even if it was in grade school and you couldn't sing? Okay, good. If you're in a choir and you've got a couple voices that are out there in left field somewhere, I know that's a mixed metaphor, but stay with me. They go off on some other melodic journey that you're not on. You have a choice at that point, right? You can follow them because you're not paying attention, and so you just kind of go with the person next to you and keep singing. Or you can stand in your own power, your own knowing, your own heart, and sing the note that you have to offer, which hopefully is the same song that you're supposed to be singing. You see, the obstacle happens when we let ourselves tune into someone who isn't us or get manipulated into reacting to something that's not even something we believe in, right? Can you say internet? Yeah. So sing your own note. Know your own value. Know that the note that you're hitting is the right one for you. Tune in when you want to tune yourself up. I think for me, the best example of this whole idea of a pausing for a tune-up is Simone Biles in the Olympics. So most of you may know that she withdrew herself from the team competition and most recently pulled out of some of the individual events as well. And there's a whole bunch of haters out there. You let down your team. You gave up. You're a quitter. Okay, so first of all, she doesn't have anything to prove to anybody. I think she's kind of already done that, right? She's the greatest gymnast we've ever known, and a 4-time Olympic gold medal. So she's not a 5-time medalist. So the other 4 don't count? What? What happened here? She described it as it's a phenomenon that gymnasts sometimes have if they are not perfectly in sync with themselves, if they are not mentally and physically in tune. When she throws herself up in the air and spins around and twists around and goes upside down a couple of times and is supposed to land on her feet, if she is in any way out of sync within herself, it's called getting lost in the air. And if you're a surfer or a body surfer, you know that if you get tumbled by a wave, there's a point in time where you may not know which way is up. As much as you need air, you don't know which way to go. So as much as she needs to land on her feet, she may not know where the ground is. That's a very dangerous thing to have happen. It happens when something is out of balance. It could be physical. It could be mental. It could be a sign of depression. It could be a sign of not enough sleep. We all know what happens when we don't get enough sleep. You know how funny you are when you don't get enough sleep. And I don't mean ha-ha. So she stepped back for the good of the team and for her own self. She did not listen to the broadcasts all around her, especially those that were saying that she shouldn't have done that. And who is she to let us down, by the way? Right? No. She says, for me, today, right now, when I check in, this is where I am and what I need, and this is the best thing. And it's also the best thing for my team. Think of the disaster, the pall that would be over the Olympics if she proceeded and injured herself or put her team in jeopardy in some way. That would be, it's like we forget. We forget again. Why are we together? Why do we do the Olympics? What's the purpose here? It's to celebrate greatness. And isn't it part of greatness to take care of yourself in the best way possible? From the highest vista, the best thing in this moment for her mental health, for her well-being, for her physical safety, is to take care of herself. And to me, that takes more strength and courage than just doing it anyway. So we have models that show us how to live by our own heart, our own highest knowing, our own self, rather than the opinions of the world, or what should be done, or the way we've always done it. We know that's not good for us a lot of the time. Humble enough to step back, being willing to pause, not having a false sense of pride that says I have to go out there and do it anyway, or my coach says I have to go out there and do it anyway, right? So this week, I'm inviting you to do your own spiritual tune-up. I'm inviting you to get support, do a little diagnostic for yourself, talk to a practitioner, a good friend, check in with yourself, spend a little time settling in to this part of you that is grounded in spirit, where your roots are grounded in spirit. I invite you this week to be teachable about something, to let go of your worry about appearances and your judgments of yourself and others, and go ahead and try something new. Or something old. When was the last time you had fun, roller skating? Oh, everybody's like, oh no. It's a much longer way to the ground now than it was when I was 7. But that's why God made railings. You hold on to them when you're out there and you look ridiculous, but don't you have fun with the grandkids anyway, right? So be teachable. Ask yourself, where can I grow? What can I learn? Where can I stick my toe in the water and just see? Just see. Where am I willing to stumble? in order to make progress. And then lose the judgment, lose the need for everybody else's approval. Just for this week, you can pick it up next week if you want. For this week, maybe just don't care what anybody else thinks. See what happens. And from that place of letting all that go, all of the shoulds and ought tos and what you think you're supposed to do, when you let that go, there's going to be a little room. Share what it is that your heart says you want more of in your life. Whatever you identify, whatever that taps you on the shoulder and says, hey, wouldn't it be fun if we, whatever? Well, I don't know how to do that. I don't have enough money for that. I don't have the knowledge to cook like that. There's a lot of reasons why I'm not going to go out there. Do it anyway. Put the YouTube video on in your house and follow along. If you burn the chicken, who cares? You're doing it for you. Because you are the expression of spirit in the world. And the best moments of our lives, think about the last wedding you went to, the stuff you remember is the stuff that was just kind of out there. That was wild. That went wrong. I have a friend whose mom walked down the aisle in her slippers underneath her wedding dress because she forgot to put her shoes on. Well, she doesn't remember anything else about the wedding, but she remembers that. So let yourself be vulnerable out there. Give it a shot. And then next week, tell me how it went. Tell me how it is, how your spiritual tune-up opened you up to some greater expression of life, because it's all there inside of you. Your job is to just let it out. Namaste. Let's pause for prayer, shall we? Taking my attention into that heart space once again. Allowing my breath to fill my body and leave it again and fill it again and leave it again. Inviting everyone here to do the same, to simply become aware of your physical self. And then to become aware of the observer within you, watching that rise and fall of the breath. For that is that spiritual intelligence. That is that consciousness that you are. Experiencing this life, this physical form, and also the invisible realms beyond. Feel yourself rooted in your chair, on your couch, wherever you will find yourself. And know that where you are planted, spirit is the very soil that you are planted in. That all that you draw into yourself is from spirit, and it is nourishing, it is fulfilling. It allows you to grow. And so in this place of knowing our spiritual connection, in this place of recognizing our divine nature inside, around, and through our human nature, I speak a word of unfoldment, knowing that every step in life is transformative. That right where we are is God in action. And so I speak a word of release, letting go of anything that holds me back or makes me feel constricted or tells me I need to be safe rather than be transformed. I let that go. For with my feet planted firmly in spirit, I know that I am supported and sustained, that I am nourished and I am expanding in my very nature, and that this is good and very good and good all the time. And as it's true for me, it's true for everyone here. Each and every person is an expression of that one spirit. A plant blooming in its magnificence, because we've taken the time to make the garden nourishing and receptive and beautiful. So seeing this beauty, recognizing it in everyone I meet, recognizing it in myself, I give great thanks. The heart full of gratitude. I release my word into law. For in the mind of God, this garden is already blooming perfectly. This automobile is already humming along beautifully. For the harmony and balance and order and love and peace and joy that I seek is already here, already now in the mind of God, simply unfolding into every life. And so it is. How many of you worked on your own cars growing up? Yeah. How many of you can still work on your own car? You have an old car, right? I had an MGB. That was enough to keep me really busy, really busy. I got good at a couple things. All right. So let's do an affirmation, shall we? Repeat after me. Spiritual awakening is a journey of the heart. That's the quote and not the affirmation. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's start again. That was a good thing to say, though, wasn't it? Yes. All right. So let's try this one. Today, I am realigned with spiritual truth. Life flows through me with ease. And so it is. All right, my friends. So thank you all for playing along with our Christmas in July. Our grand total of all the little taggy tickets and different boxes that we had out there is $740. So yay us. That prosperity is going to allow us to make a few more changes and improve things and make it all look really pretty and give us a little more equipment and keep us moving, keep us growing, keep us thriving. So thank you all. And it was kind of fun, wasn't it? Yeah. And a good thing I recorded a whole bunch of the Christmas in July movies off the Hallmark Channel because, you know, you can't like watch them for 30 days and then stop cold turkey for another 5 months. I don't know. That's just too much for me. So there's a few left to be watched over the next couple weeks once the Olympics are over, of course. Sneakers are still coming in. We have bags out there in our little gathering box. So again, if you have old sneakers that you are not using and you're not really ever going to use, or you've used up, bring them in. We'll put them in a bag. They'll go to an organization that will either pass them along if they're wearable or turn them into something wonderful if they're not. We get paid a little bit. They get the supplies that they need to provide products to people who need them. So do play along. And you know, you don't have to just bring in your own sneakers. You can go to your spouse's closet and clean that out for them too. Or, well, maybe not. Okay. It's a good thing. We've collected lots, haven't we? Yeah, we've had bags and bags, so good on you. What else do we have? Wednesday night on Zoom, right? The link is always in your e-blast, and if you're not getting the e-blast, make sure you let me know. That's always a good coming together for conversation and community, and always an interesting give and take on Wednesday nights. It's a lovely experience. So if you haven't done that for a while, or if you've never done it, think about tuning in at 7, and you'll find the link again in your e-blast, your weekly mail. Mary. Oh, okay, the pre-gateway meditation on Wednesdays. Okay, so we are going to restart the pre-gateway, the pre-Wednesday night service. We had a meditation that Nisa was doing on the phone. She's going to start it up on Zoom. So there will be a little community meditation experience at 6:15 before the 7 o'clock service. Are we starting this week or not yet? Okay, so check your e-blast to see if she's starting this week or it might be the following week. But that'd be kind of a great way to do meditation. I know most of the time in meditation you have your eyes closed, but it's still kind of nice to see everybody when you start and finish. So we'll look for that. We'll look for more information on that. And I think that's all we have. Anybody have anything else? A little thank you and shout out to, thank you. Yes, that's important. To Patty for coming in to start getting our bookstore team trained. We got a certain distance. I don't know if you noticed this in your house, but there's a few things that I didn't use all year long that we were, kind of not doing everything normal. And some of them didn't survive my neglect, like a couple of plants that didn't quite make it because I forgot to water them here at the office, Well, the bookstore electronical things didn't all wake up when we tried to start them today for some reason. So we will continue our bookstore training in the near future. And thank you to the team that gathered this morning to get started with that, because that means we can open our bookstore up again, which we're looking forward to. Someone waved at me and reminded me that it might be a good idea if I thank you once again for your contributions, that your financial contributions are what keep us going. And it's a way of you owning your community. And isn't it nice to own something as beautiful as this? So if you will, if you have your contribution with you, you can place it over your heart or simply know in your mind that which you give, you always get back multiplied. And say with me our prosperity affirmation. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am prosperous now. You'll find the baskets at the doorways on your way out as you exit. And before we do that, let's stand up, make a circle, and rock out with a little shoulder shimmy to the person across the circle with Eddie Watkins Jr.
Take a look at the person.